Some classic books can feel like a big undertaking because they are very difficult to read, especially some works of Dickens and Hardy, George Eliot, or even modern classic authors like Thomas Pynchon or Williams Burroughs. So the point here is not to stress over in case you want to approach these classics, because the key factor here is to take your time, because not every single person is going to have the same experience while reading classic literature. So let's talk. But before we start, hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Yersi and this is Books and Boundaries. And in today's video, I am bringing you a topic that many of us can relate to, especially in these times where we see so many reading trends on social media. And that is related in a way to classic FOMO. And I hold the opinion that classic literature may not be necessarily for everyone, because not all of us will approach it in the same way. Let's take, for example, Paradise Lost by John Milton. This is an epic poem that was written in medieval times around the 1600s. And for sure, you know that the language and the prose is going to come hefty in meaning and understanding. But once you start getting used to all the theological themes and all the philosophy that is presented to you, you actually start to appreciate how deep Milton dives into the Bible in order for him to explain and present to us the root cause of moral vacillation in humans, as well as disobedience and therefore their penitence. In Paradise Lost, the devil plays a key anti-hero role because he challenges the vision of God, and he explains through his rhetoric that humans are malleable and therefore they can be easily corrupted. And once you're into Paradise Lost, you will open your eyes and push you to ask yourself questions about your existence and the morality of the choices that we make every day. And in a way, Paradise Lost, it's about a morality and judgment, but also it's about deep reflection and thinking about our free will in contrast with the consequences of our actions. And as always, I recommend that if you are interested in reading Paradise Lost, try to approach it with an annotated version like the Norton Critical Edition or maybe Oxford Classics. And now that we're mentioning judgment so many times, we need to throw in the mix the Divine Comedy by Dante. And the Divine Comedy is another epic poem that was actually written during the Dark Ages, so about or around the 1300s. So that makes it even older than Paradise Lost. And if I could describe the Divine Comedy in just a few words, I would say that it's a heavy text about the suffering and damnation when we face divine justice in the afterlife. And to me, Dante is very captivating as much as he is daunting, because when we're going through the books, he relies heavily in Greek mythology and philosophy in order for him to explain the soul journey to redemption. So if you're interested in reading the Divine Comedy, just remember that it's split in 3 books. You have Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso. And don't walk out. It's not that bad. I promise. You just need to take it one book at a time. And another long classic that is very popular in academia is, of course, War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. And War and Peace on itself is not a difficult book to read because of its writing style, but because it has so many characters and so many side plots that actually, as you are reading, you need to journal in order for you to break down the family trees, the conflicts within each branch. So when you pick up the next section, you know how the story is going and where you are in the story. And if you don't know anything about this book, War and Peace is an epic novel about the telling of a nation that is rotten by the abuse of power, alongside the struggles and conflicts among the lower classes, leading them to revolt against the aristocracy. And what you enjoy the most about Tolstoy's descriptions is the way that he has to play with the characters' emotions and ego in order to shake them to the core and to show them their own insignificance and their true lack of purpose. And for me, Tolstoy descriptions are truly exquisite because not only they take you to the heart of the conflict, but also they point directly at the true human cost of what means to be free. Definitely, War and Peace as an epic novel is a book that at some point you should read and truly enjoy. And last but not least, another underrated classic that not a lot of people talk about, and in this case, it is a play. It is Faust by German author Johann Wolfgang Goethe. And throughout the play, we get to see Faust's vanity and ego leading him into tragedy while also dooming everything and everyone around him because he forgets the number one lesson that is the most important. As humans, we can be prodigies, but we can never be God. So here we see the devil taking all shapes and colors in order to lure Faust into damnation. And Faust as a play was split in two parts, part 1 and 2. And out of both, I would say that number 2 is the most difficult because is not only the finale, but also the more complex when it comes to Greek mythology and Greek characters. And also we see a lot of Christianity elements of angels and judgment and egotism and magical realism. So it's kind of complex, but that's what makes the whole thing very interesting. And if you haven't had the chance to either see the play in person or to read the book, take a look at it because it has its moments. It has its moments of sadness. It has its moments of judgment, and it has its moments of reflection. And that's what truly makes it a staple in classic literature. And there you have it. This is my take in some of the little books in classic literature that can be just a little bit difficult to read. Let me know what your comments and opinions are. What do you think? Do you think Paradise Lost is easier than The Divine Comedy? Or do you think that War and Peace is just a historical novel and therefore has less context? Do you think that Faust is easier or less challenging to read than, for example, maybe Dumas or Molière? Let me know what your take on this is. And as always, I hope you are enjoying the rest of your day. And until our next installment, bye bye.